Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Michael Coren Show. Thursday, and almost every Thursday we discuss federal politics. Nothing better to do, really. This Thursday is no exception. Today, Joe Carmartin, MP for Windsor, to come see New Democratic Party of Canada. We're us. Great to have you here, as always.
Thank you, Michael.
Akash Maharaj, who is president of the New Liberalism Foundation. It's hard to pronounce because no one cares about it anymore. New Liberalism Foundation was a national policy chair of the party. Great to have you here.
No one cares about that either.
You're right. And Richard Ciano, who's National Vice President of the Conservative Party, the Tories. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Let's begin with the cabinet reshuffle. Any major surprises here?
No, I think what we've seen is an opportunity for some new blood to come into the cabinet by way of secretaries of state. I think it's, as you know, we had a very small cabinet starting off, and this gives a chance for a few people who've really shone on the backbench to come in and make a contribution at the cabinet table.
Rona Ambrose was a complete disaster, of course, in environment, and she's been moved, and a very nice person, but
not at all. The issue on environment has absolutely has not been a policy issue or anything to do with our achievements. In fact, Rona has a lot to be proud of, and the government has a lot to be proud of on the environment.
What does she have to be proud of?
Well, I'll tell you, this is the first government to actually regulate and enforce emissions targets in Canada. She also brought in on December 20th new regulations, the new Cleaner Fuels Biofuels Initiative, which is going to require 5% of all gasoline to have renewable content by 2010, and 2% of all diesel and heating oil to have renewable fuels by 2012. That's that's going to be the equivalent, Michael, of 1 million cars taken off the road in Canada, and that's a stark contrast to the Liberal record on the environment. The much vaunted record of Stéphane Dion on the environment, which only seems to be vaunted, frankly, by Liberals. The David Suzuki Foundation, when Mr. Dion was Minister of the Environment, said that his bill lacked teeth.
Didn't bring in David Suzuki says about anything. If she did so well, why should she be moved?
She did so well.
There's the reason.
The government.
Well, it's just sometimes it's time to give other people a shot to try and to move the ball forward in a portfolio.
Oh, look. We're not like the other shows. Tony Clement hasn't done that well, but not too badly. Has experience. Jim Flaherty's done pretty well.
He's done extremely well.
Even a defence minister who a great deal of criticism apparently is to stay in place. Rona Ambrose, intelligent woman, capable woman, terrible job at environment, given a very difficult portfolio, really hanging out to dry. She hasn't been thrown out of cabinet. I think the Prime Minister realised it was very difficult for her. She's been moved sideways, well down. And John Baird, who is the pit bull of your party, would probably do a good job. He's moved into that position to try and salvage and save the portfolio.
Well, no, it's to try and communicate more effectively.
That's the euphemism you're using. Communicate.
To communicate more effectively our successes on the environment. No, I mean, you've got strong cabinet ministers in this cabinet, and frankly, in the 10 months that we've been in office, I think you've seen Jim Flaherty and John Baird and others in the cabinet become household names in a fairly short amount of time, and I think that's quite a contrast to sort of the nameless, faceless ministers you had under.
Well, I would
Martin
say
I
think Jim Flaherty and Tony Clement are very competent people. I would argue, though, that they haven't particularly become household names. I mean, Jim Flaherty, who is a man of enormous ideas and energy, is very rarely seen.
I don't think that's true at all. I think we've seen a lot of Jim Flaherty in particular.
Well, he's probably at your house every Saturday.
No, easy. I certainly not. But I'll tell you that there's been a lot of announcements that's come out of these ministers. Obviously, this government wanted to have a lot of focus in terms of policy initiatives and actually make sure that things were announced and there wasn't the chaos that you saw on the communications front in previous governments. But I ask again, things like the tax, so the income splitting for pensioners, the GST cut. I think Canadians are hearing from Jim Flaherty and hearing from our ministers on these, and from Tony Clement on the health file, and others, that they're actually hearing directly from the ministers who have responsibility.
You can put a plague on both their houses. In foreign affairs, we have a foreign minister who, with all due respect to them, and I don't think he's a particularly original thinker, not that dynamic a person, and now with Helena Gurgis as Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, again, an extremely pleasant person, bright, but Stephen Harper is in a different league from these two, and it seems to me that his views on foreign affairs as Prime Minister are the views of the Foreign Affairs Department, whatever happens.
First of all, you won't hear an argument from me that Stephen Harper is frankly the strongest minister in the government. There's no question about that, and frankly, I think the best communicator.
Is he effectively Foreign Minister too?
I'm sorry?
Is he effectively
No,
foreign
no,
minister
not
too?
at all. I think people will tell you that Peter MacKay has done a fantastic job as foreign minister, and I think it's well regarded. He's very well regarded both with his colleagues around the world, and I think again. There haven't been any concerns about his performance
Condoleezza Rice speaks very highly of him.
But and frankly, this putting Helena in, as you said, Helena is a very talented woman, and this just gives Peter a little bit more backup in what is no doubt
What I was
a
making, I
challenging
suppose,
department.
trying to be as delicate as possible, is that neither are particularly strong characters. And it seems to me that
I don't think you get to be ministers in Canada unless you're strong characters to begin with.
I'm older than you.
So I think they are both very strong, and I think they're going to do a fantastic job.
Garth Turner. What's happening there? Is he going to be? Will he run? Will you put up a Conservative to run against him?
Oh, sure. We're going to nominate a Conservative candidate in Halton. There's no question about that. That's a riding that wanted to elect a Conservative member of Parliament last time.
So why did they elect Garth Turner?
I think, well, he was running under the Conservative banner at the time, and that's why they elected him. So I think I think that we'll run a solid Conservative candidate there, and I think we'll win the riding back.
Confident?
I am confident, yes.
Joe Carmartin, thank you so much for being here. As always, Akash Maharaj, a pleasure to see you, my friend, and Richard Ciano again, thank you so very much.